and neighbors, it's your friendly neighborhood gearman dude here to show you how to quickly change strings on your flat top. And by a flat top I mean your acoustic guitar. You can use any kind of strings. I use DRs most of the time, in fact all of the time. But I am excited to check out these new dragon skin, which are like their coated strings. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this quickly. Yes, because speed is important in all matters of life. No, it's not. That's not true at all. You can use any kind of winder. That doesn't matter for the speed part, but for the greater good of the people, I'm going to use this thing, which is a little adapter. It goes on any cordless drill. You can get them at most music stores as well as your online retailers. So I'm going to loosen up all of the strings a little bit, and by a little bit I mean quite a lot. That's where I start. Then, oh gosh, it's not in the camera. Yeah, there we go. Right here, see these guys? We're going to take all those out. Usually your little string winder will have a slot on it, and that is to pull your bridge pins. So let's do it. We pull them. Pull them. Nothing but a little bit of leverage to get those suckers out. Yep, alright, they're all out. I loosened up the strings just enough that I could pull each string right on out of there. Oh, look at that, it didn't actually work. I didn't loosen them enough. Oh man. Now we won't edit, we'll just do it. There's a second way that you can do it as well. You can just use this tool. It's called a, whoops, I didn't loosen them enough, string clipping tool. Any standard wire cutters, of course, will do, all jokes aside. Now, we get them all out, and they're out. We take them all off up at the top, simply by unwinding them a little and pulling them a little. This guitar, by the way, is a late 40s, circa 1948 Gibson J45. It is the world's greatest acoustic guitar. At least it's the greatest one that I've ever come across. And I've had it for a long time, and I do love it. It is my girl, yes. Okay, so guitar ready to be strung. First thing we do, we gotta load them into the bridge. So, let's do that. Alright, these guys come 2 strings in a pack, out, give them a little spin, see, they come right out, it's beautiful. What did I do with my bridge pins? Did I mention we're going to try and do this quickly? I've already kind of failed at that. But the camera's rolling, so we'll just keep on keeping on. Take each one, of course, with the ball end, just touch it right there to the bottom of your bridge pin, and you'll feel it kind of give a little bit. You get a little slippage going on, and that is when you push the bridge pin down. The friction holds it into place. It is a masterful way to do it. Whoever was the first one to come up with that method, thank you. That was a great job. Most likely they're not watching this. Okay, so load them all in. Like I said, you'll feel this, the little groove of your bridge pin, you'll feel it kind of give just a little bit when the ball end is in there far enough. Alright, they're loaded. I put the treble strings on that side of the neck, the bass strings on this side of the neck. We'll move the body out of the way. We shouldn't need to see that for a little bit. Alright, see? Yes, I can see, you can see, we can see. I flip all the strings to that side, I forgot. So, my low E string, I'm going to take it down through the nut slot, give it a crank around the post. Usually you can give 2 loops and then stick it through. On this particular guitar I can only give 1 because the tuning post is kind of low, so I can only get 1 on the E. So let's go to the A where we can do it the right way. A, through the nut slot, A string that is, Coming up here, going counterclockwise, one thing to remember, you always want to go on acoustic guitars or any guitar with 3 on a side tuners from the inside out. It has to go that way. Don't do it the other way. It'll offset the foundation of the planet. It'll upset the gravity of the moon. Just don't do it. So all I do, I just wrap it around, usually 1.5 or 2 times. I'm holding it down here with my thumbnail to keep it from slipping off. Wrap it, and I stick it through the hole over the top. Now most people use a locking method where they kind of crimp the string and all of that. I don't do that. Don't need to. I'm telling you, I've been doing this for decades now. This is the way I do it. This is the way that works for me. You can do it any way you want, but this holds just fine. Once we stretch the strings, we're good to go. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to go out of tune. And all that locking does, in my opinion, is make it harder to get your strings off in a hurry when you need to change on the fly. Okay, the final string. Again, we went from the inside out. I didn't really mention that, but when we went the other way, we went the other way. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does or not. So, final approach right here. Over the top. Lock it into place just by giving it some tension and pulling it. So, we've got them all on. Now we tighten them a little bit. And when you do, you want to make sure, give it a little bit of pressure with your finger or whatever on this side, and tighten it so that the winds go up. You want the winds to be on the bottom of the post. Why? I don't know, but you do. This is also going to help lock that string into place. All I'm doing is just putting a little bit of tension on there to keep that wind going down. It keeps our wrapped layers the way we want them to be, all nice and neat. So I put just a little bit of tension on it. Now, I'm going to stretch them. Stretch them and get these things out of the way. Oh my gosh, it's just Murphy's Law with this demo. Okay, I'm giving them each just a little bit of tug. Why? To tighten them up down here and also secure them down here. It's going to happen 3 times. Just kind of tune it to ear for me. Just giving them kind of close to standard tuning tension so that when I'm stretching them from here on out, I'm really stretching them where they need to be. Main reason to stretch is your guitar won't stay in tune if you don't do this stretching. So, first real stretch, number 1. I just kind of, this is where I'm doing most of it down here. I'm using this to kind of counter stretch. And I'll move my hand into the frame so that it looks a little better and a little more realistic. Again, tune to pitch. Alright, the third and final stretch. When I'm stretching these, each time you'll notice it goes flat again. Like say this string, the low E string. It's not stretching nearly as much now, but here's your pitch. If you give that a good stretch, it went down about a half pitch. Anyway, that's probably over-analyzing and over-explaining. I clip the ends because I'm not a punk rocker and I don't need the ends hanging out on my strings. Some of you may choose to do that. That's okay. To each his own. The world is about unique people. Okay, so they're all clipped. Now, let's zoom in. I'm going to use the SNARK tuner. It's not actually the one I generally use, but I noticed that so many people have them in their rigs these days. We'll use this. Alright, so basically I had it tuned sort of to ear, to pitch. And I'm going to take a pick, and pluck each string. And I can see that I'm flat. So I'm going to give it a little bit of love there, tighten it up until Let's see that little green light there. Like that. They're all flat because I stretched them even after I tuned it to ear. I keep stretching them. And I prefer to tune from flat up because it gives a tighter, secure, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, I like to tune up instead of down. What I mean is, I don't like to go from here down and trust that. I'd rather go too low and tune up. So I'm on the B string. Still a little flat. And there we go. And finally the high E. Alright, so we've got them all in tune. And like I was saying before, you can see a little better now that it's close up. You want all of your wraps to go from the bottom up. You'll notice none of these are locked in with that locking method that most people use. It's going to hold tune just fine. Now we'll give it the true test. We'll see if it's in tune. And so it is. Stopwatch out so that we can see how fast it really was. Maybe we'll do that next time. Anyway, that's my method for doing it. Like I said, no need to lock them down here. They stay just fine. Once you stretch them out 3 times, you're good to go, ready to rock, acoustically that is. All right.